This is the Ohio AgNet from the Voice You Know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide, the proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual. When you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Ty Higgins. The local Connection Ag County Fair Tour initial stop is on Monday, with their first check presentation of the season going to the Union County Fair Board. Then I'll be broadcasting from the Shelby County Fair on Tuesday, thanks to Tempty Trailers. Check out their new location in Sidney. A new home for the butter cow. The comfortable weather continues, and the 3 sides of the disease triangle in soybeans. This morning's news feed delivered by Ebert's Field Seeds, proven local seed performance for Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Ebert's. Call 937-473-2521 or visit online at ebertsseeds.com. To help pay for college, I spent all 17 days at the time of the Ohio State Fair dipping ice cream, serving up milkshakes, and making Swiss cheese sandwiches in the Dairy Products building. And to be honest, that building seemed seasoned all those years ago, but it's gotten some renovations, upgrades, and additions. Allison Kenny has the story of the new home of the butter cow at the Ohio State Fair.
The newly renovated dairy building will be ready in time for the Ohio State Fair, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony scheduled in conjunction with the unveiling of the annual butter cow display. Long considered one of the fair's most popular attractions, the dairy building serves Ohio dairy favorites including hand-dip ice cream, milkshakes, and Swiss cheese sandwiches, while also housing the nationally recognized butter cow and calf display. Recent renovations were designed to enhance the visitor experience, while also preserving the building's historic character. Updates include the addition of air conditioning, new windows and flooring, expanded guest amenities, and the new butter cow cooler, relocated to improve visibility and visitor flow. A new kitchen addition on the back of the building expands food preparation capabilities, and an educational video corner highlighting Ohio dairy farming and its impact on the state's agricultural industry. Make sure to stop by and see the butter cow at this year's Ohio State Fair. For more information and a schedule of the Ohio State Fair this year, please visit ohioagnet.com. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Allison Kenny reporting.
Thank you, Allison. Let's check in with our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work with Dusty Sonnenberg.
Joining me today is Dr. Horacio Lopez-Nicora, OSU Extension soybean pathologist and nematologist, explaining the conditions that need to be met for disease to spread using the disease triangle.
Just as a reminder for disease to happen, and no matter what disease we're talking about, but of course we're going to focus on soybean diseases here, we need those 3 components of what we call the disease triangle. We need the presence of the pathogen. Most of the time, unfortunately, the most damaging pathogens that we have to deal with in Ohio, they are soil-borne pathogens, which means that they inhabit the soil. Once they're introduced in a field, it's very unlikely we're going to get rid of them, so we need to manage them. Virulent pathogen, a pathogen that actually can cause disease. We have that. The presence of a susceptible host, and that's soybean in this case. And then the third one is the conducive environmental conditions. If we don't have the condition for disease, no matter how much pathogens we have there, no matter how susceptible our soybean is, if the conditions are not favorable, the disease will not happen. Sometimes we use this as a way to manage some diseases. We alter some conditions in the field. These are called cultural practices. And by doing so, we avoid that disease triangle to take place, and therefore that disease. I also mentioned susceptible host, which is another way that we could manage a disease. We can go and search and look and select for resistant soybean cultivars, and that in the presence of a pathogen and even under conducive environmental conditions can mitigate and reduce the severity of the disease, right? Disease triangle, very simple, a very simplistic way of explaining how disease happen, but it just guides us a little bit to manage certain things.
You can learn more about soybean disease management in episode 76 of the Field Leader Podcast, online right now at ohioagnet.com. And this update has been brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg reporting.
Appreciate it, Dusty. Time for the weather, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest and largest growing independent seed company. Here's Ryan Martin.
Sunshine, blue sky, low dew points, low relative humidity. Yeah, we got it all here today. Make sure you enjoy this late July day. We don't make them like this very often. Tomorrow, we're warmer, but still seeing very comfortable humidity values in many areas. Saturday, warmer still, and humidity starting to creep up, but I don't think it's going to be uncomfortable at all. Getting into Sunday, we have to deal with a little bit of hit and miss of scattered moisture early, especially in northwestern parts of the state. Otherwise, it's just partly sunny and a little bit more humid. Same story for Monday next week as clouds increase overnight Monday night through Tuesday. We've got showers and thunderstorms. I'm only going to be calling about 50% coverage across Ohio. 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch is all I'm looking at here. Behind that moisture, we dry down at midweek, cool down a little bit as well. So Wednesday, Thursday, and most of Friday dry next week. Scattered showers coming back for that first weekend in August. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. Auction season is just around the corner, and looking ahead to this fall season, what is being watched closely that could influence the farmland market over the next several months? Kevin Miller is with Oak Ridge Realty and Auction Company.
Yeah, certainly the commodity prices is probably number one. And I know people have been talking about beans are getting a boost right now. Seem like they're doing pretty good. So commodities are going to be important. We're going to see where the tariffs and the impact of all the tariffs are going to put us. And obviously, when you start getting into that fall season and harvest takes place, I think guys start settling up, right? They start crunching numbers, penciling things out, and then they can see where they're at after the season's over and say, hey, we want to be more aggressive and add to, or maybe we want to just remain where we're at and we don't want to take that leap and grow for this year. So that's what we're going to be looking at, is mostly the commodities and the impact on tariffs.
On the seller side of things, are you seeing maybe a shift between taking the auction route and a private treaty route?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question as well. So, 2 years ago, the last couple years, I would say, auction was the way to go, 100%. If you had a decent farm, you wanted to auction it off, drive that excitement and get those bidders come to the table for, competing bids. But now what we're starting to see is if you have a really nice farm, auction can still be the way to go. But if it's something, maybe it's an irregular shape or maybe not quite a good enough size, or maybe the soils are a little bit subpar, then we want to start thinking about that private treaty, and maybe we need a little bit more marketing time in order to get that farm sold.
You can find out about their upcoming auctions online at oakridgelandandfarm.com. How has nutrient management changed over the last 5 decades? Find out in today's featured audio next as the Ohio AgNet continues.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
What's better than getting the trusted farm news you count on from Ohio's Country Journal? Having a chance to win a brand new Arctic Ultra Tough cooler. The Ohio's Country Journal sweepstakes are back. Subscribe or renew your subscription today, and you'll be entered for a chance to win one of 2 45-quart Arctic Ultra Tough coolers. Just visit ocj.com/renew for official rules and to complete your subscription or renewal for your chance to win. Ohio's Country Journal, your source for Ohio farm news.
You're listening to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Joe Everett. Today, my guest is Joe Nestor with Nestor Ag. And when it comes to agriculture, there's always a lot of changes over the years. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen when it comes to nutrient management?
So the biggest changes in nutrient management over the last nearly 50 years is going from a shotgun approach, one size fits all. Farmers put the same rates, same blends, across their entire operation. And so that in itself created some variability within the field because obviously the yields weren't uniform across the whole field. So the technologies that we have today for variable rate technology applications, I think are just extremely important for the farmer's bottom line. We don't want to over-fertilize because it's wasting money. We don't want to under-fertilize and leave yield on the table. And we want to put back to the 4 R's, the right source, right rate, right place and right time. And if we follow that philosophy, it really leads into more profitable agriculture.
What advice would you have for farmers who want to learn more about nutrient management?
If farmers wanted to learn more about nutrient management, I mean, this is a never-ending learning process. The technologies keep changing. Our seed genetics are changing. Our productability is changing, and then the costs come into play. So I think a farmer would do well to take a proven approach on their own farm, use some good, sound soil testing methods, and then see what works best on their operation and basically make their whole farm a research plot.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us when it comes to nutrient management?
So fortunately for nutrient management, doing the right thing is on the right side of the profit ledger, because you can't afford to overspend. You can't miss inputs that would really help you. And the main thing is you can't afford to buy those nutrients and them ever leave the boundaries of your farm by weather. So incorporating those practices that are proven over a long time here that keep the nutrients in place, minimize the risk of loss, will extremely contribute to your bottom line.
Again, that was Joe Nestor with Nestor Ag. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Joe, thank you. Ohio wheat farmers are strengthening international relationships that could lead to new export opportunities. The Ohio Small Grains Marketing Program recently welcomed a U.S. Wheat Associates trade team from Brazil for a 2-day tour highlighting Ohio's wheat industry. The visit showcased the state's production, grain quality, research, and transportation network while giving Brazilian buyers a first-hand look at Ohio's soft red winter wheat supply chain. The delegation visited Sunrise Cooperative's Crestline grain facility, toured the farm of Morrow County wheat grower Ray Van Horn during harvest, and stopped at the USDA Soft Wheat Quality Lab in Worcester. The group also visited the Ohio State University Ag Technical Institute to learn about wheat breeding and variety development. Brazil is an important market for U.S. wheat, and Ohio leaders say trade missions like this help demonstrate the quality, consistency, and reliability of wheat grown right here in the Buckeye State. You can read more about the trade mission online now at ohioagnet.com. We'll check the markets and get analysis coming up next as the Ohio AgNet continues.
The Ohio Soybean Council is investing in research and innovation to help Ohio soybean farmers get more from every acre. Your checkoff supports research focused on improving yields, reducing costs, and finding solutions to pests and diseases. Through Arable Research Lab, your checkoff is helping bring new soy-based products to market because innovation on and off the farm helps create more opportunities for your soybeans. Visit soyohio.org to see how your Ohio soybean checkoff is driving innovation.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. This morning's market analysis is brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Wednesday midweek session sharply higher. U.S. weather risks were colliding with Black Sea logistics. So what does that mean? You guessed it. Wheat markets led the gains on Wednesday, but soybeans partook, corn partook as well. The risk premium was being added very intensely yesterday as Black Sea vessel movement stayed very restricted. Clearly warmer central U.S. weather forecasts beyond the end of the week also played into concerns about crop condition. Western Plains already reaching into the upper 90s and low 100s. That, along with a lack of rain, is projecting outside of eastern Nebraska and Missouri in the next 24 hours, a prolonged period of dryness outside of those areas in Nebraska. It's going to be one thing after another going forward in this marketplace as well. Chart momentum is definitely positive on corn and beans. Corn easily moved through the 100 and 200-day moving averages yesterday. That's your market recap. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. Slight gains overnight for the corn, beans, and wheat. September corn up a quarter penny at $4.62 1/4. December $4.85 1/2 and up 3/4. August soybeans $12.37 1/4, up 4 1/4. New crop November 4 cents higher at $12.43 a bushel. And September wheat $7.07, up by a penny and 1/2. After yesterday's trade, August live cattle down 347 at 223.20. September feeders off 877 at 336.20. And August lean hogs 101.45 down a nickel. This is the Ohio AgNet.